Okay, here we go. The Planet Mikey Show.
He's about to get crazy and wild. Stay for a while. Don't touch your radio dial.
Planet Mikey Show.
Kicking it back, sports talk. Listen to that and stay tuned for some giggles and laughs. Go.
This is Mr. Montgomery. I met him a few weeks ago in New York.
You live here?
Yes.
Well, maybe you know what a zombie is.
When a person dies and is buried, it seems there are certain voodoo priests who have the power to bring him back to life.
Horrible.
It's worse than horrible because a zombie has no will of his own. You see them sometimes walking around blindly with dead eyes, following orders, not knowing what they do, not caring.
You mean like Democrats?
Welcome to the Planet Mikey Show.
And they all live at the Holiday Inn in Marlboro with their voodoo shit. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. I reestablished my broadcast voice.
Really?
Yeah, because I was starting to lose it.
Here, hold on. Let's hear it.
And now, the Planet Mikey podcast with your host, Planet Mikey. Ben Kitchen. Hi. Bill Smith. Hello. Ilya Koryakin. You can't see him. We're brought to you by Pro Automotive of Webster and Dudley. I got to get my son's car in there for his brakes.
If you've got trouble with your car, truck, or SUV, Pro Automotive is who to see. Pro Automotive.
Yeah, his car is difficult to stop, that police car he has. He has a police car, too.
Yeah?
Yeah, I copied him, though. He didn't copy me. And it's hard to stop the car now, and, those are the brakes. Pro Automotive has locations in Dudley and South Main Street, Webster, and Englewood Street in Webster. And we're also brought to you by My Grandma's Coffee Cake, as always. And by the way, you guys, it's been a long time since you got a free, nice, delicious, giant coffee cake from my grandma. So if you would, pick a flavor now so I can put in your order and get you guys the cakes that normally our guests get.
Blueberry.
Blueberry?
Yep.
It's always blueberry with you.
I like the blueberry.
Do you eat blueberry cereal?
Actually, do they make walnut?
Cinnamon walnut. Yeah, the regular coffee cake is cinnamon walnut. You want that?
No, blueberry.
I knew you'd have no nuts on this.
Well.
The blueberries are great. What about you, Ben? Now remember, you got to share this with your whole family, okay? Because it's too big to eat by yourself.
Says you.
Daniel likes it.
I'm thinking about this chocolate chip coffee cake.
You don't think about it.
I usually get the blueberry because it is probably the best, but I'm going chocolate chip coffee
I'll
cake.
take the chocolate chip coffee cake,
You
too.
two peckerheads.
You know, suddenly, as soon as you said it, Ben, all I can
That's
think
the
of
Ted
were
Williams chocolate
those
cake, right?
delicious little nuggets of chocolate in there with that delicious
I
coffee
think that's
cake.
it's called the Ted Williams.
This one's called chocolate chip. Let me look. Ted Williams chocolate. Now I got to look at that one.
Wait, that's just that's a chocolate version of the coffee.
No, I just
cake.
want the chocolate chips.
All right, so okay.
Same here.
By the way, that Ted Williams cake was a big hit.
Yeah. Do you have these cakes in your car right now?
No, but I'm going to order them fresh, and they set them right off the assembly line. They ship them right to you. You get them within a day.
Did you freeze one for later?
You can freeze them.
Yep.
Yeah, it has a freezer bag on it. Oh, that's good. Ted Williams.
I was a little late. Sorry.
Oh, that's
good.
That's awful. That was a tragedy. And I talked to his daughter. It was a sad
joke. Off with his head.
thing. Well, it was, they were calling him the headless hitsman and all this
I
stuff.
know. It comes right back to life when it thaws out.
And I love Ted Williams, by the way. So today's tax day. We're recording this podcast on the 15th of April. Mm-hmm. Did you do your taxes?
Oh, yeah.
I did months ago. Yeah.
I get it. My accountant is starting to lose it. I mean, he doesn't call back. He's slow. Last year he put me on an extension because he couldn't get to it. And I'm not going to mention his name, but I'm getting damn tired of his lack of professionalism.
Did he get you a giant refund?
It eventually. It took much longer than the prior years. Because I got all them side hustles. I don't report that income.
I never get a refund.
No?
This year I might get one, but I'm not sure. Because I was
You're making a lot of money, that's why.
I was fired from that radio station.
You were making a lot of money.
Cut my... Jeez, it's unbelievable. I'm so happy now.
It's good.
I haven't gotten a refund in a couple of years.
Refunds. I get them every year.
Hey, by the way.
Hey, but that's, why? Because I'm a Lyft driver and an Uber driver, and guess what? I can claim 67 cents a mile.
Is that what it is now, 67?
Yeah. That's how you get rich. It's Biden money. All right, now, My favorite expression has not changed. What is it?
I don't give a shit.
So what?
Oh, so
Yeah,
what?
you
Okay.
guys-
Oh, sorry.
How can you forget after 6 years of doing this podcast and being in the same studio with me and talking? How many times have I said, so what?
You know, you're right. Sorry, Mike.
Goodness. And my wife, she's so cute. I got to tell you something. My wife.
You got a story? And now a story from Mike Adams.
My wife, 22 years ago today, we got married at Comcast Sports Network. Hey, look, Jason, Pro Automotive. We were just talking about him.
Yes.
And the fine service that they have over there. And they're one of our fine sponsors. So he's timely on the text, right?
You mean at Pro Automotive?
At Pro Automotive, yeah.
If it's under the car, if it's under the hood, go to Pro Automotive. It'll turn out good.
That should get me a lube job.
That's right.
My wife, who's, as you guys know, you've met her. She's a doll. Mm-hmm. She's a sweetie, and she left this on the kitchen table.
Dog tag? She afraid of you dying at the grocery store or
For
something?
our anniversary, it says, "To my love, if I had my life to live over again, I would have found you sooner, so that I could love you longer.
See that?
I may not be your first date, your first kiss, your first love, but I just want to be your last everything."
Oh,
Isn't that
man.
cute?
Oh.
Happy anniversary, Mike.
And it's a keychain too, so it also has another function, which is to put keys on it.
That's correct.
Yeah, she's a really
But
good.
happy anniversary to you and your beautiful wife.
Thank you very much. She's a good one. I got lucky two ways. You know, she's nearsighted.
Yeah.
Was the first thing.
Yeah.
Second, at the time I met her, my place was a nicer place than hers. So, and by the way, it's copper. This is a 22nd anniversary is the copper anniversary.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it goes all the way to silver at 25, and then you can have a gold anniversary at 50.
Wow.
But what?
I know.
50 years of marriage?
My grandparents did it.
Well, my parents did it too, but it's like, wow, can anyone do that? Anyway, if I was going to have a 50th now, I'd be like 90 something when it rolls around. I don't think anyone wants to attend that party.
You'll still be here.
And now wheel him in.
That's right.
He's here. He's drooling and he's. By the way, a couple things I want to mention before we get into. I have some news today.
No, really.
You want me to do that first? I don't care.
Time for the news with Mike Adams. Go ahead, Mike.
Doesn't matter what order I do them in. Hartford, Connecticut. A commercial truck driver who was acquitted in the 2019 deaths of 7 motorcyclists in New Hampshire. You remember that story?
Yep.
Pleaded guilty, and he was sentenced Monday. Finally, this is 6 years later, for driving under the influence in Connecticut a month before the deadly crash. So they're getting him for the drunken driving a month before he killed 7 people on motorcycles in New Hampshire. His name is Vladimir, spelled the same way as the Ukrainian president.
Yeah.
He's from Ukraine, by the way, this guy. Vladimir Zhukovsky.
Well, that was a horrible story.
He entered an Alford plea, which means he did not admit guilt, but acknowledged that the state had enough evidence to win a conviction at trial, which is kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
The plea results in a conviction. He's sentenced to 18 months of probation. Okay. Now measure this up against 7 people's families getting ripped apart and torn apart because this guy ran over.
Yep.
He's from West Springfield, Massachusetts, and he was arrested for driving under the influence in East Windsor, Connecticut, May 11th, 2019. This is before the thing happened in the New Hampshire thing. But the Connecticut officials alerted the Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles, but Zhukovsky's license wasn't immediately suspended due to a backlog of out-of-state notifications about driving offenses. So what we have here is a failure to communicate.
Jesus.
And then that led to the tragedy of all these people getting killed.
How can there be a backlog in a digital age?
Oh,
It's not like you have to sit there and file them by hand.
unbelievable.
I think it's called government.
Well, the second time I was in handcuffs was when I was driving home from NECN at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I went to stop and get a pack of cigarettes. I smoked back then. I was flawed. And a cop pulled me over, and he said I crossed the center line. I didn't, but it was that in the time of night where he thought, okay. So he pulls me over, right? And I didn't know. I was contesting a speeding ticket, and I missed the court date. in Massachusetts because I lived in Connecticut, and they didn't mail me the notification of the court date, so they didn't have it. So all they had was the fact that my license was suspended. So I get handcuffed. I got to stay in a hotel, go to court the next morning in Worcester, all this bullshit on my way home over another lack of communication.
You didn't try the old, do you know who I am?
I didn't say anything like that.
Oh, man.
Do you say, do you know who I'm not?
I did, and we were there for hours.
You know who I used to be? Come on.
We were there for... Anyway, as part of his Connecticut sentence for driving impaired, he must perform 100 hours of community service and submit to random drug tests. He admitted that he had done heroin and cocaine and all... This guy's from the...
Wait, so all he has to do is 100 hours of community service?
That's it. After all that...
So less than 10 hours per dead person?
That's unbelievable.
Can you believe that? He's Ukrainian.
Things don't surprise me anymore when I see how things are being handled.
God, I mean, seriously?
Yeah.
So that's the Zukovsky story. And his right is Vladimir Volodymyr.
It's a lifetime of sadness for those people.
Another story that's going to bother you.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it may not bother Ben because Ben's, he doesn't
have feelings,
get bothered by stuff.
And now another story from
He's what
Mike
you call
Adams.
oblivious. A Missouri foster mother has been charged with child abuse and endangerment as authorities investigate whether she traded an adopted daughter to someone in Texas for a monkey.
Well, okay.
Named Mutt. She traded the kid for a monkey and mistreated other children in her care as well. The 70-year-old woman from Winfield, that's a town near St. Louis, Missouri, sort of. So it seems to me like we're a little more out in the woods than St. Louis. She's been jailed on a $250,000 bond, which is the same amount that guy got for stabbing that basketball, that track guy
right in the chest because he was disrespected.
He gets $250. He gets $250 and he's out. Yeah. You know, and he's under house arrest. Mm-hmm. This lady gets $250,000 bond because she traded her adopted daughter for a monkey. Now, I did that on the Planet Mikey show, and it led to my demise.
It's true.
You can't just get a monkey and expect them to do what normal people do.
I was waiting for that.
Oh, no, that's all right. It's gone. What was
Leave it in, because now everyone will know what we've dealt with for 2 years.
Yeah. Now, what?
Leave it in.
How did it stop?
That sounded like Rosie O'Donnell sandpapering her butt crack.
Oh, okay. Oh. You see, in past, people don't get to hear that because we edit it out.
Now, the girl that was adopted and then got traded for a monkey, they refused to give the information on her name because I was going to try to get her on the podcast, but that won't happen. So
Coco?
The girl told authorities she was beaten with wooden trim, shoes, and a paddle.
Jesus.
A detective said, and then traded for a monkey. You know, seriously.
So that was a step up.
By the way, there's only one monkey still alive, and it's Mickey Dolenz, the one you know.
That's correct. There's a picture right there.
He's a real monkey. Yep. Anyway, she told the story. No one believed her, and and apparently it was true. Now, here's the schlong and short of it. Ready for this story?
Another news story?
You ready for this? Come on, Ben.
And now the long and schlong with Mike Adams.
A United Kingdom man who boasts the world's largest penis has revealed that the many downsides to having a Titanic tallywhacker, including struggling to put on clothes, feeling faint while erect, and receiving twisted propositions.
We should all have those problems.
A recent scientific study measured his manhood at 14.2 inches.
Yikes.
It's like he's got 2 feet and another foot. More than that. That's while erect, though. So, I mean, come on. Nearly 3 times the global average of 5.1 inches. Which is always good to know.
Average?
Okay. It's always good to hear that number. There's no known term for this condition, but Barr says his mammoth member is often referred to as his macrophallus, which essentially means a pretermaternally large, I don't even know what that word is.
How dare you?
It's a large penis is what it is. While this might seem like a dream come true in our porn-obsessed society, the Cambridge graduate says having a big willy is a lot harder than it seems. It seems that erections can make him sick, he claimed, because their size puts a strain on his circulatory system.
That would do it for me.
And I'll do it in his voice, too.
Right.
That's why my size fluctuates a bit as well, because it's very difficult to have that much blood flowing around there. explained Barr, who authored the upcoming autobiography, A Long Story, Life with One of the World's Largest Penises. Okay. What? He couldn't come up with a bigger name than that? So he says, I get lightheaded at times, and you can't get fully erect. I've taken some various medications over time to try to shrink it, which seem to have had more the opposite effect.
Come on, man.
During his April interview, he recalled a mortifying instance where he was barred from a yoga class because the instructor thought he was aroused due to his big bulge.
Wow.
Of course, not all the asks have been bad. Barr claimed he even landed some dates due to his famous phallus.
The famous phallus.
Nonetheless, due to his age, the Brit says he has no plans to cash in on his Jumbo Johnson via OnlyFans.
Whoever wrote this had so much fun.
As he would if he were half his age, explaining, I'm sure if I was 20 years younger, I would have, because I'd be more focused on making sure my parents were all good. I'd be in the gym constantly, all these things, to keep himself in shape. Anyway, I just thought we'd throw that in there. What's the guy's name? The famous porn star with the giant...
John Holmes?
No, the other one.
Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy. He actually filleted himself in a video because he could. And it's the grossest thing. I don't want to talk about it on the podcast. It's disgusting. Don't you think?
You brought it up.
I'm disgusted right now.
Well, yeah, but I thought that doesn't mean we can't bring shit up on a podcast. Have you ever?
Yeah, but you don't. You brought it up and then said, "I don't want to talk about it."
Have you heard what Gavin Newsom talks about? He talks about.
Damn it!
Get sick. He's got a podcast now. Now, does anyone ever dispute the fact that we're the greatest podcast recorded in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts?
We set the bar high. All podcasts should be judged by this very podcast.
Yeah, because there's other ones out there that would claim that they're because they have more idiots. We have smart people. This is a podcast for people with brains, as opposed to, a podcast for fucking assholes.
That's right.
Is there any other way I could have said that?
No, that was good. They know who they are.
Now, a couple things I wanted to mention. I mentioned my anniversary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 22 years, not bad. I'm going to say two things about the media. Well, no, first I want to say something about what I did last weekend.
Is this a story?
It's just, it's a list story. I went to see our buddy John Finn, who was in here, the fabulous Massachusetts' greatest guitarist.
Yeah, no kidding.
He was guesting with the band No Static, which is the Steely Dan cover band. Now, Steely Dan is a difficult band to do because they have such unbelievable instrumentation and musicianship. They have a horn section, drummer, keyboard player, bass player, two guitarists,
and
singers.
You can't fake those solos because everybody knows them note for note.
And John Finn gets up there and just kills them every time. Does it exactly, explicitly like Skunk Baxter used to. John Finn is a masterful guitarist, and I went to see him in that show.
Yep.
Second time I've seen this. Knocked out again. In Arlington at the, what do you call it, theater?
Regent?
Regent,
yeah. And the band is called No Static.
No Static.
Yeah.
It's tremendous.
Yep.
So, and I want to thank John for getting me good seats, too. I didn't have to sit behind any big fat ladies. I could see everything from where I was. It was awesome. So, thanks to that John, different Jon.
Yes.
I want to thank another guy named John, John.
Really?
John Grasso. He's the owner of the Halfway Cafe.
Yes.
They have several. And I'm going to the Hall of Fame celebration. I'm in the Hall of the Halfway Cafe Hall of Fame for spending the most money in the year 2001 at any of their locations.
Is that when you started dating your now wife?
It was 2002, but by then I was still. I used to go in there and have 12 beers in a football game or whatever was on. But anyway, John Grasso sent me. They have my favorite thing is that they have there, and they have such good food. But they have these things called boneless cafe wings.
There's nothing like those.
Oh, and the sauce on them is like addictive and wonderful. And I went in there for a year and had them like at least once a week for a year.
They're always the same.
Yep, they're perfect.
Yep.
So I saw him last time I saw him. I said, I got to get some of that sauce because, it's kind of far for me to go. The locations of the halfway are not Marlboro, Watertown and Dedham. Mm-hmm. And from where I live, that's a long ride. So he hooked me up with a jar of the sauce. And now my wonderful wife, to whom I've been married 22 years, can make chicken tenders and put them in this Halfway Cafe sauce. And it's like, And I tell people, without the Halfway Cafe where I met my wife, my boys wouldn't even be alive.
There it is.
So it's magical. And I want to thank John Grasso and the Halfway Cafe for all they've done for the big change in my life.
Let's be real. You'd be dead if it wasn't for them.
Yep. That's exactly
Saved
right.
your life.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
How you died, I don't know, but you would be dead.
That's something that has yet to be determined. TBD.
TBD.
So thanks to those people, I want to also say that I'm culling the internet for goofy stuff because that's what I do.
There's plenty of it out there.
I found a video of the world's the lady with the world's largest mouth. I was hunting when I found this story about the guy with the large giant member.
Yeah.
I said, I wonder what the record is, Guinness Book of World Records for the largest mouth. So I Googled it.
Was she blowing that guy?
No, but she should be.
Oh my God.
Shouldn't she?
I think that was a natural question.
Well, I mean,
Is that why
don't.
you're
This
blushing,
goes
Bill?
together like horse and carriage over here.
It's all right.
So
Is that what they call mouths over there?
the largest mouth.
What did you find, Mike?
This lady has the largest mouth, the Guinness Book of World Records. She can stack 5 Jenga blocks, 5 of them, and open her mouth and get. You have to be able to grip the thing in your mouth.
Yeah.
A full apple, a baseball. She can do a full baseball in her mouth. Like that. You think about that.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. She can do a 10, you know how you double burger, triple burger? She can do a 10 patty burger in her mouth. I don't know if she's ever tried that.
How old is this woman?
I don't. She looked like she was in her late 30s, early 40s or something like that. So how much time has she had to stretch that jaw muscle out?
I don't know, but that's talent right there.
So
it's intimidating.
It's great, but when you see her put a baseball in her mouth, you go, oh, she does it so easily. You know who has the biggest mouth on TV though? Is that Simone Sanders on MSNBC?
There you
Have
go
you seen
again.
her?
I never watched that channel.
Well, MSNBC has this
Mike
weekend
is
show
obsessed.
with Michael Steele and Simone Sanders, who looks like Hungry Hippo with a face, and she's got a mouth that looks like you could park 2 cars in it.
Yeah.
Seriously, you should check it out just for that. You don't even have to keep the sound up.
All right.
Annoying. She's annoying too. Annoying on CNN. That guy that does all their stats of their most recent post, Harry Enton. Have you seen him?
Don't know Harry. No.
Oh, he's from the Bronx, first of all. So he's got that obnoxious Yankee fan accent. You want to just step onto the screen and smack him in the face. He's the most annoying guy on CNN. If you look for them, they can bring him out and feed. Oh, look at this. Donald Trump's numbers are down to this, and only 1% agree with him. You know, and he's an idiot. So, and I Googled him, and I found out he's the nephew of Neil Sedaka.
Oh, there you go. Love will keep us together.
Laughter in the Rain.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and happy birthday, Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, pervert.
Sha-la-la.
Is he dead? Was he gay?
No, I think he's. I don't know. People used to think that he
seemed
was
gay.
Well, he was always happy and well groomed.
I mean, I don't know if there's a way to seem gay without being gay, but he did seem gay. I always thought he was.
But he was talented. He could sit there, play the piano, and sing.
There's a lot of gay, talented people, Smitty, out there in the world. The other thing that was annoying me lately is this story about this one guy. Look, he's from San Salvador, right?
El Salvador.
El Salvador.
Yeah.
And his name is, he's got 5 names, but I'll give you the last 2. Abrego Garcia. He's the one that they allege MS-13 guy.
Oh,
and they deported him to.
You mean the Maryland man?
Yeah, the Maryland guy.
Yeah.
So we got all these people going across. 10 million people come across the border under the Biden administration, and we're worried about this one guy who came here in 2016
illegally,
right? Illegally, and stayed around for a long, long time. Then got married and had a couple kids, and it's like the whole news organizations of every network are on this. Oh, this is a big story
because they think they got Trump again.
Well,
yes, it's not going to work.
He's from San Salvador, El Salvador.
Yep.
He's from there. That's where he came from. They sent him back to his home country. He was here illegally, which is already grounds for deportation if you want.
They're saying he didn't get due process. Like he needs it, right?
You know, just.
Come on.
But everybody, it'll play itself out. But do they have to have it leading the newscasts on every single night with this guy? Oh, this Maryland guy. Oh, his family's here. Let them go to El Salvador and join him.
They could visit.
Don't you love how they position it though? Maryland guy to make you
Yes,
think,
Maryland
put the
man.
image in your head.
Yeah.
He's a family
He's
man.
not a legal citizen. His wife is.
Yeah. And he's
his
an
kid is.
MS-13 gang member.
Which is
Wait, but
which
if
is the
his-
reason he's there.
If his wife, doesn't that make you? Don't you get citizenship? How does that work?
No, well, you don't get it automatically.
How does that work?
When you
If you
when
marry-
the kids are automatic because they're born here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
The wife was a citizen, and then but he never was. He was hiding, in the shadows.
Yeah, I don't think they were married. If they were married, I think there's a loophole in there. Or
That's what I'm like.
The
That's
way to
what
get
I
the
always
green
kind
card.
of.
Yeah.
But he didn't get the green card. He was trying to pick up work at a Home Depot in a parking lot full of guys that are looking for work.
Yeah.
That's how they grabbed him. Anyway, it's just a weird story.
Oh, you mean, hold on, they kidnapped him. That's what the media said. They kidnapped him.
They
Come on.
kidnapped him.
That's right.
Now, some big dates coming up in the world of. First of all, I want to mention that we're recording this on the 15th of April.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is the 16th of April.
That's how time works,
Huh?
Mike.
I finally got that right. Three people you all know. We talked about one of them a little while ago. You and I, Smitty.
Yeah.
The three famous guys have a birthday tomorrow. One of them was a podcast guest.
Okay.
He was a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. He was
Longboard.
Oh,
Jim
Lonborg.
Longborg, the greatest dentist I've ever had. One of the nicest men ever to play the game of baseball. Just a good guy.
Everybody says the same thing about that guy.
83 years old tomorrow.
Wow.
And you look at him, you say, oh, he can't be over 63.
Yeah.
He's just in shape and he's a good guy. So happy birthday, Lonnie. Happy birthday to the greatest coach in the history of the National Football League.
Bill Belichick. He's right there.
Yeah,
Happy
baby.
birthday, Bill.
73 tomorrow.
That's it. Oh, he's a young man.
Yeah, he's 73. Well, his girlfriend's young.
She sure is. Yeah. He knows what he's doing.
He sure does. Yeah. She says, Grandpa, we going to go get an ice cream cone after this?
Sounds like that.
Sure.
No, that was him.
I'll give you some ice cream.
Bill Belichick. I mean, look, I've known the guy since '87. I love the guy.
He's a
And
great
everybody
guy.
Say, okay, whatever.
I'm glad he's having fun.
He's the greatest coach in the history of the league.
Yep.
And
it is pretty fucking weird, though. It's, you
in a
just
good
watch
way, though. It gives you hope.
I guess.
I mean, my wife's way younger than me. Not that much younger, that's for sure. But
Keeps you on your toes, though, doesn't it?
yes, there's something. Also, happy birthday to, we just talked about him upstairs, as a great writer for the Boston Herald. Steve
Buckley. Steve Buckley.
Remember, we were just talking about what a great writer he was.
Buckley is a good man, yeah.
Steve Buckley is having a birthday tomorrow, too. April 16th. All three guys.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, too.
It's funny when three people have birthdays the same day, like Jackie Robinson, Ernie Banks, and Nolan Ryan. All were born on January 31st.
No, the best. Wait, does Musial and Griffey Jr. have the same birthday too?
Yes.
It's the same birthday, born in the same
town. And they both played in the National League, left-handed. The joke is, Donora, Pennsylvania. It's a dinky little, it's not a big place. And Stan Musial was born on I don't know what the date is. Same October or something, maybe the same date as Ken Griffey Jr. So you say, it's weird that Ken Griffey Jr. is the second best left-handed hitter that ever came from Donora, Pennsylvania, and born on this date,
November 21st.
November 21st. Right. That's a good one. That's a good trivia question too. But the other date that's coming up that's important is this. April 18th, 1775.
Hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year.
See, it was the midnight ride
of Paul Revere.
And it's the 250th anniversary of that midnight ride of Paul Revere coming up this week.
That's right.
In just a few days. Now, I did a little homework on Paul Revere because I knew Ben wouldn't know any of this, but he says he's a good history guy.
Lexington was just named, as an aside, as one of the best places in Massachusetts, in fact, in the country, to live. It ranks number 2.
Well, he had to turn around at Lexington and go back because the British captured him. I don't know if you know that.
I did know that, yeah.
Okay. So now you're the one that's an expert on this.
Well,
I'm going to
I'm no
find out
expert.
right now.
I
Okay, this will be open to both you guys. Ben looks like he's in a chemistry class after 2 labs and he wants to go home. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's like this. Oh,
thinking, oh,
history.
God, not
The
this.
chemicals are getting to me.
Do we have to do? Where did the midnight ride of Paul Revere begin?
Well, his house. He had to ride from his
No.
house.
No.
that's
wrong.
technically true.
That's wrong.
He started at his house, then he rode to where he needed to be.
Wait, hold on.
So
hold on,
his
you're
house.
wrong.
The
And
north
here's why.
end.
He
No.
walked from his house. He didn't ride. He
How
walked.
do you know that?
Because I did my homework. He walked to the water and took a boat to Charlestown, a rowboat across to Charlestown, where he picked up a horse. Aha!
So,
Okay, see? And so, a technicality. It's a technicality. He didn't ride to Charlestown. And that's where the ride began, in Charlestown. You didn't know that. What was his horse's name?
Friday.
No. Okay, here's, you don't know, do you?
Shaggy.
Fuckface. Fuckface the horse.
That's right.
Hey, Paul.
Why the long face?
Hold on.
You know what? Nobody knows the name of the horse that Paul Revere rode because it was a borrowed horse he got in Charlestown. He didn't even know the name of the horse.
Of
He
course.
rode it,
Yeah.
and he got famous for it, and nearly galloped off into history. But he didn't know the name of the horse. They've asked everybody, and they asked him. He didn't know. He said it was a good horse. So there's a question number 2. Nobody knows the name of that.
Okay. So it was a trick question. Then
All right.
we both
Then-
would have failed if you asked that question.
Who wrote the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere? The poem. The
That
famous
was
poem.
Harriet Beecher Stowe.
It wasn't Longfellow, was it?
Yes.
It was.
Louisa May Alcott.
He's that guy with the penis, the Longfellow.
Yeah, the guy from England.
By the way, speaking of being a Longfellow,
Yeah.
how many children did Paul Revere have? He got married twice. How many children?
I would say he had 4.
7.
First wife, he had 8. Second wife, he had 8 more.
Yikes.
16 kids, because he was a Longfellow too.
Apparently.
It's more than a silversmith.
Well, yeah, well, he etched his name
Cocksmith.
somewhere. He etched his name somewhere where you can't see it. All right, now, by the way, that poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, I found 2 sources. One said it was written in 1861.
Yeah.
And the other one said it was written in 1903, and I can't figure it out. Could you just Google Henry?
I thought it was written. Okay.
The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere is the official name.
Yes. So we're going to get to the bottom of this because they're going to celebrate this. They're going to do a reenactment in Boston in a few days.
That's what I hear.
Starting at the Old North
What
Church.
am I looking up again? When he wrote this?
Henry.
The
Henry.
Midnight Ride ofUl Revere. And you know what they do?
Did you know this class was going to be this boring when you showed up here today, Ben?
It says it's an 1860 poem.
Okay, 1861
Oh,
published.
blah,
again.
blah, blah.
Okay, and some parts of it rhymed, which made it even better.
First published in 1861. Okay, there we go.
You know what's interesting is on the 18th of April they have the reenactment over in Concord.
Yeah.
and which is about maybe 10 miles from here. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
If the wind is blowing right, you can hear them when they do the reenactment. You hear all the muskets go up.
Are you going this year?
Yeah, I know. No, I won't.
So yes, so we talked about his wife, first wife. She died within a year. He'd married the second wife and 8 kids with each of the wives. Wow,
A busy man.
wow, wow. What was the code for the lanterns in the Old North Church?
One if by land, two if by sea.
Okay, so you guys
3
know the only
if
thing.
by air.
You know, third grade.
Sorry.
Third graders all know that too, so don't feel so damn self-important. What was something that Paul Revere never yelled as he was warning the
redcoats are coming.
Well, no, he might have said that.
Yeah.
He never said the British are coming.
The British.
You know
are
why?
coming. Oh,
Because
okay.
everybody was British.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's right.
So, how old was Paul Revere?
He
when
also
took-
didn't yell, "Hi-ho, Silver!" because he didn't know the name.
He was a silversmith.
Hi ho, what's your name?
Actually, a pewter smith.
Yes, and a silversmith and a goldsmith,
Yeah, that's
and he
right.
was
pewter
He was
smith?
all that stuff.
That's
It's related to Lois.
He wasn't a billsmith.
Thank God.
Notice the tie in there.
I like that.
It all comes
Made
back
it a
together.
local. How old was Paul Revere when he took the famous ride?
33.
34.
Wrong. 40.
41.
Yeah, and he had kids at home, and left his wife and gone off, did this dangerous thing. You know, the guy had some nuts. They were silver. They were made of silver.
Where you going? I'll be right back.
I'm just running out for a pack of butts.
That's right. To Concord.
So the Sons of Liberty members, Paul Revere and William Dawes, prepared the alert, the one at Philadelphia 2 by C, which began when Robert Newman, the sexton of Boston's Old North Church, used a lantern to signal to warn the colonists in Charlestown of the British Army's advance by way of Charles River. Revere and Dawes then rode to meet who in Lexington? Who were they going out there to meet?
The Minutemen.
Some famous people.
Oh.
Some organizers. Community organizers.
Samuel Adams.
Yes.
And John Adams.
John Hancock. By the way, he changed his name later on to Foot Penis. That was much later.
Yeah.
That happened. Anyway, that was 10 miles away.
John Foot Penis.
It's Foot Penis now.
John Cocktoast.
Nosen. The trio were intercepted by the British Army patrol in Lincoln, Massachusetts. Prescott and Dawes escaped, but Revere was returned to Lexington by the patrol, and then he was freed after questioning.
Wow.
So he must have lied.
Must have done something to
Must
let him
have
go.
done some really good lies to get that done. Now, do you have any idea where Paul Revere is buried?
In his tomb.
I was just going to say that.
His crypt.
He's buried in his grave.
See, that's a wise-ass answer. No wonder you got B's and C's in school.
He's buried in Boston.
In Copp's Hill, the burial ground?
Granary.
At the granary, yeah.
Yeah, along with
Sam
John
Adams.
Hancock and Sam Adams,
Yeah.
the guys he went to meet. They were buddies. You know, so as Jim Cook once told me, the Sam Adams CEO,
Yeah.
he said, this is the only place in town where you can, in a bar, where you can get a cold Sam Adams here and then go across in a cold Sam
See, another
Adams
cold Sam
in the cemetery.
Yep.
His house, the Paul Revere house in the North End is the oldest house in Boston.
Yep. Been there.
And what was, just for fun, what was his first occupation before a silversmith? Let's see how you do on this one.
I would say he was a carpenter.
He played hockey, right? He was in the NHL?
Yeah, that must be
What
it.
was his profession?
Cannabis.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? What was his profession
Well, he was
before he was
a
a silversmith?
A carpenter.
Rock star. Didn't he have a band?
Yeah, he had a band, and we're going to hear from the band. But first, tell me what his occupation was.
Oh, my bad. Did I ruin your...
You fucking ruined every single surprise I've ever had on
Jesus,
this
Ben.
podcast. Jesus.
Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its crust. I'm going to tell you guys because you guys
All right, so
obviously-
he wasn't a carpenter.
No.
He wasn't a stonemason.
No.
No.
He was a bell ringer at
bell
the
ringer
church
at-
at the Old North Church.
Paul,
Job?
He was a bell ringer. They had to have somebody ringing those bells.
Ring your bell.
So now you know. Or as Paul
Ring
Harvey
my
once
bell.
said, now you know the rest of the story. And in honor of Paul Revere Day and Ben's unbelievable knowledge of history, Bill Smith is going to play a tune, and Joe and Jerry are going to do, their tribute to Paul Revere by doing a karaoke song by Paul Revere and the Raiders. That
He
fabulous.
did have a band.
Girl, you thought you found the answer on that magic carpet ride last night. Can you believe it? But when you wake up in the morning, the world still gets you uptight. Well, there's nothing that you ain't tried, bitch, to fill the emptiness inside. When you come back down, girl, you still ain't feeling right. Joe? And don't it seem like kicks just keep getting harder to find, and all your kicks ain't bringing you peace of mind before you find out it's too late, girl. You better get straight. That's Shaw's. No, but with kicks. Talking kicks here, Joe. You need help, girl. Well, you think you're gonna find yourself a little piece of paradise. Piece of something. but it ain't happened yet. So, girl, you better think twice. Don't you see, no matter what you do, Joe, it'll never run away from you, Joe. And if you keep on running, you have to pay the price. Oh, yeah. Don't it seem like kicks just keep getting harder to find? And all your kicks ain't bringing you peace of mind. Before you find out it's too late, girl, you better get straight. I'll give you straight right here. You don't need kicks to help you face the world. Each day, Joe and Ben, that road goes nowhere. I'm gonna help you find yourself another way. Right here